Hey there, YouTubers. So in this video, we are going to see if my Patriot DDR4 4133 megahertz RAM is compatible with the Gigabyte Z490 UD motherboard. So here we are, and normally you're gonna pick a processor, pick a motherboard, and then figure out what RAM you want to go with. In this case, because I buy so much gear, it's an afterthought, right? So I don't know if you saw what I did there. Basically, I'm on the website for Gigabyte UD Z490. Um, there will be a, let's just back up. When you first come in, it's going to look like this, okay? And then you'll click on support over here. And then manual. Sorry. Support list. Then memory support list. And then you get this list of RAM. So I'm trying to save this. If I can find the little gizmo. Alright. So it's good to have that. Now 4133, there's no Patriot listed. Alright. So most likely my RAM that is surprisingly compatible with the ASRock motherboard may not be compatible here. So let's go ahead and restart this. And we'll see when we go in that the RAM right now is at 2133 base speed. That is unacceptable, right? So we first come in here. We need to go. I've been so looking at ASRock motherboards lately. So extreme memory profile. We're just gonna, go through this like we don't know anything. There's profile 1. Profile 1, 4133. Profile 2, 4000. Should we do 4000 or 4133? Let's just go for it. And then let's see what's under here. These should be your timings. Somewhere in here. Yeah, they'd be right there. So there's nothing else we need to change at the moment. Save and exit. And if we get lucky, this will boot right back up and we will have a smoking fast computer. If we're not lucky, there's a bunch of things that could happen. Sometimes it'll try and reboot 3 times and not succeed, and then set your RAM back. Sometimes you'll get to this screen and you'll either be able to log in or you won't be able to. Sometimes you'll get through the login and everything else is haywire. So what we're really looking for is whether it's going to be stable. So I'm going to pause while I log in. Looks like I'm going to be able to log in. All right, so we're logged in. Now, showing a RAM 4133. So that's a good sign. At this point, running a memory test would be a good thing. So I'm going to go download. I'm just going to download Intel's Extreme Tuning Utility because I'm going to need it for some other stuff. And then also CPU user benchmark so we can see the numbers on it. I'm going to pause while I download those because you guys don't want to sit through that. All right, so of course we have lost our picture. Good old OBS. Just can't handle things. So I'm going to have to restart this and edit it together. All right, folks, so we're back. Let's run our memory test inside a ITU. Now, a lot of other memory tests that can be done and a lot better ones. This one's just a simple memory test, assuming it comes up. So if it doesn't come up, then you know there could be a problem. Now, why am I making this video? One reason is, you know, there are probably some people out there that are curious if this RAM will work with this this motherboard. And to be honest with you, I think it's the cheapest 4133 megahertz RAM out there. And so because of that, you know, some of you may indeed want to buy it if you've bought this motherboard. So that's why I'm doing this. Now, obviously, if you've never seen Intel's Extreme Tuning Utility, this tells you quite a bit about your CPU. And I would say if you have not seen this, you should go in and check it out. But just so, you know, I use this a lot just so people can see that I actually have the gear I'm talking about. So here you go. Gigabyte Z490 UD motherboard. That's what we're talking about. And the RAM does not tell you anything about manufacturer, but it does say 16 gigs, 4133, 2 sticks of RAM, and oddly enough, it says banks 1 and 3. I guess that's right. It's in the second and fourth slots from the CPU, so where the manufacturer tells you to put it. Here's our CPU, i7-10700, and so that's what I'm working with. I don't have a graphics card installed at the moment. All right, let's go to the stress test, and we're going to do memory stress test. Now, normally you would do this for a lot longer. I don't want this to drag out forever, so we'll do the stress test here. And so most of the time, if it fails, the computer crashes and restarts on any of these stress tests and the benchmarks. If it's going to actually pass, you know, it'll make it all the way through from what I've seen, and it'll say passed at the bottom. So we should see that in a minute and something. But now another reason for me putting this RAM on this CPU motherboard combo is I've been comparing the i7 and the i7-10700 and the i7-10700K at 2666 megahertz and some other RAM speeds, and I just had my best average FPS with Fortnite 1080p low, and so in this game, or this round, I want to set this motherboard up so that it can also hit those same numbers, or see if it'll hit the same numbers. As well as do some other games for comparison. Okay, so it passed. That's a good sign. Now let's use our CPU user benchmark. So there would be a part 3 to this. I had some issues with the other solid state, and none of these games are actually installed. They're on the secondary drive, so I had to replace the primary drive, and I'm going to have to reinstall Windows and all that on it. But yeah, none of these games can I play. So the third part of this video would have been to actually play a game on there, and that's what I would recommend you guys do. Now, honestly, it would also say play multiple games because, as I have found, I ran on the other computer 4266. I was able to run, I think it was Rise of the Tomb Raider, but every time I try and run Fortnite, it would crash. And then I backed down to, I think, 4200, somewhere in there. Still same problem. 4133, boom, start working properly. So, honestly, it looks promising. And as this is about to end, I'll just kind of do my little summary. So we did a XMP profile one, got it to 4133 megahertz, passed a relatively simple memory test. Then it looks like we're going to make it through this. It could lock up at any point. You never know. But there are two things. Now, the third thing would be, run a video game with it and see how that goes. And then finally, until you run enough video games, you just don't know if it's truly compatible. So why is this not listed on Gigabyte's website? There are some things they're a little behind in, like out of all the manufacturers I looked at, I think they were the last ones, if they even have it shown, to put the i9 10850K to list that on their site is compatible. So I wonder if it's just a matter of them being behind COVID-19. Maybe they're not all in the office, not sure. But so here's the numbers, and oh my gosh, that is the highest bench I've ever had on RAM. 113 with a ASRock Z490 motherboard, and in this case it is 115, scoring in the 86th percentile. Now I'm looking at this monitor; it's all jacked up, so I can't see what's over on the right side too well. But what I wanted to do is look at the latency. .3. So I've seen better numbers for that, but it looks good, folks. So this thing potentially, when I pair the RTX 2070 Super up with it again and do some gaming, it should prove to be pretty solid as far as comparing to the i7 10700K without an overclock. Now you saw in the ITU you may have noticed this has the power limits set to unlimited, so we're getting a little more out of it. But yeah, that's all I have for this video, folks. Thanks for checking out. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.